What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the final team selection video of the 2020-21 season. As always, I am joined by Gianni, who's joined me all throughout this year. How you feeling?
I'm excited for the last day of the season, if I'm honest. For many ways, yes, it's going to be an amazing day because it'll be the first time this season we've had all 10 games on at once. I love that drama. I love that chaos. I'm buzzing about Scoutcast Match Day because of it. But at the same time, I'm excited for the season to end because it's been an absolute nightmare for me. I've never had one like this. I was looking at my overall rank history this morning going, this is my worst season to date. I've not had anything like this before. And it's going to take a miracle for this not to be my worst season of my 13-year FPL history. So who knows what the final day will bring, but maybe I get a big green arrow and it turns out not to be the worst, but it's definitely going to be close or the worst season I've had. Sod's law, the year we do this every week is the year I have the nightmare. But look, I mean, I've loved them. So I'm really glad we've done it. It's been brilliant talking to you every week. And yeah, it's been a highlight of my week each minute. It's the 20 minutes we chat FPL. So always happy about that.
Yeah, good stuff. I think so many people have got similar stories. I think the first year I went on the Scoutcast, had just an awful season. It was the year, I think it was the year when Jamie Vardy went absolutely mad for Leicester. I think it was the year they won it, and I just ignored him like the whole season, and that just wasn't a very smart plan. One of my mates, he was first for 17 weeks of the FPL, like first overall. Wow. He went on the Scoutcast, and then he ended up finishing 8th. He went for the last 3 weeks, he went 2nd place, 3rd place, then 8th place to finish. So it's just one of those things, It just happens. Everyone has a season. What is currently your worst rank?
I was looking. I think it's 370. So
Okay.
it's doable. It's doable.
Yeah.
I can get that. I've had two in 13 years. I think I've had 2 or 3 outside the top 100k, and one of those was a 375 or 76.
Oh, okay, so that's the target then. Now it's got to be.
That's got to be the target.
Yeah. Okay. So let's have a quick look at last week. So it was a pretty low scoring week for most people, to be honest, especially when the captain's blanked. Like that's always going to be a relatively low score. Did you watch the Spurs game?
I watched the last 15 minutes.
That's probably the best 15 minutes, to be honest.
Yeah, I was really busy Tuesday and Wednesday night, so I didn't watch any of the early games, and I caught the 8 p.m. games, but not the early ones, or the last 15 minutes of the early ones. And yeah, I saw Gareth Bale coming off the bench. I mean, my transfer in last week was Gareth Bale, wasn't it? As we discussed, Bale and James. And I was thinking of Bale and Chilwell. I went James just slightly safer. Chilwell got the assist, of course. But Bale, I knew there was a chance he wasn't going to start. I saw Ryan Mason's comments, and I just went, you know what? It doesn't matter if he doesn't start. I need a differential. He's a premium. Even if he comes on, he could score. Yeah, I don't really regret the decision. I was shocked he didn't start. I saw Mason's comments and still thought he'll play him in front of the fans. But whatever, Spurs were useless, weren't they?
It was one. I mean, I know it's easy to remember the most recent game, but it's one of the worst games I think I've seen Spurs play all season. It was so bad, and then it makes it worse. You got to watch Salah then against Burnley without the captain. But luckily he blanked too. So yeah. I guess your stars were Gundogan. The Man City match was a bit of a roller coaster, really. Obviously, he scored quite early, but then he got taken off before 60, didn't he? Yeah. So yeah, he's possibly got a knock, which we'll talk about. But Luca Dean coming in again after you free hit him out, so he's done the business, hasn't he? He's been all right, Luca Dean.
He's been great. Buying Dean when I did, he's been really good. When Dean gets a clean sheet, he always gets bonus because he creates so many chances. Even when he doesn't assist, he gets bonus because he creates those chances, and you jump in the BPS. So he's a little bit like a Trent and Robbo. I mean, Trent got the clean sheet this week and didn't get bonus, but usually if they're in low scoring games, they're in and amongst the BPS every time.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard for Trent this week because Robertson got 2 assists and Phillips was also got a clean sheet and scored. So it was really difficult for Trent to get anything. But I know what you mean. Yeah, those kind of defenders that constantly. It's like Luke Shaw as well for Man United, although maybe Man United keep less clean sheets. Let's look at. I was going to say next season. Let's look at the next week, game week 38. So one thing to say as well, I'll just caveat it quickly. It's a weird week where all the press conferences are today. So we're recording on Friday. Usually there's some on Thursday, and almost always, like Brighton, for example, Potter is always usually on a Thursday because they usually play early. So we've pretty much seen no news from any managers, so that could change things, but hopefully not by too much, because one of the players obviously you've got flagged is Veltman. So let's just say, for argument's sake, I mean, Gundogan's going to be a difficult one. You know, if he has got a knock, he's not going to get risked, is he? No. So let's say Veltman's out and Gundogan you're not sure about. What's the initial thinking of the plan?
Yeah, firstly, I'm not looking to take a 4-point hit. And I've taken a lot of hits this season. I think I'm up at 60 points in hits I've taken. I don't want to say lost because a lot of them have made me points. And it's been a different strategy this year. I've taken the hits because I've had such a poor rank early on, and I've had, I've been trying to go with some differentials and stuff like that. Usually I take far, far fewer. Look, if Veltman doesn't play, I probably have Mitchell come in, which doesn't look great, or Dean come in. Like, I don't really want to start either of those guys, but I just do it. I'm not going to be using a defensive transfer this week. Gundogan, however, I'm happy to bench. Like, if he doesn't play, because I'm looking to sell Calvert-Lewin this week. So whoever comes in for Calvert-Lewin, of course, it's Bamford. Bamford will be starting. Gundogan is benched. The other option is I keep Calvert-Lewin and I replace Gundogan with whoever is starting in midfield for Man City. If we're going to get some leaked team news, and I'm not sure we will, then, I could go Foden, for example. And that's quite a nice upside player. It will be either Bamford or Foden will be one of my two moves. There's no point in taking both of them, because if I was to take a 4-point hit and go Foden to Gundogan, Bamford for DCL, I've still got to bench one of those decent attacking players, and they've all got quite good fixtures. So I won't be taking a hit. It'll be one transfer only. And I think it'll end up being Bamford, because I don't think we'll get the Man City team news.
Yeah, I'm kind of banking a lot on getting some kind of early leak on Sunday. The problem is there's a lot of stuff going on. There's obviously 10 matches, all 20 are playing at the same time. And so the amount of leaks, and you got to trust that it's a proper, decent leak and not just someone messing about, like just a Twitter account that's just been started. So, I mean, I guess one player that I'm considering is Torres, because he started the last game, but obviously got brought off early by no fault of his own. Would you think about him instead of Foden, or are you kind of locked on wanting Foden?
No, I like Torres a lot. Torres or Foden, I could both reach. I'm just looking at the money.
Yeah, you got 1.3, I think.
I can't get up to say Mahrez, but no, I mean Torres is. If we look at the Man City team that we think will start the Champions League final, and we say it's the team that played in the semis so well against PSG, it's pretty set. Torres is probably the one attacking player you think might be able to force his way into that 11. I don't think he will, but he's the closest. He's closer than, say, Sterling or Jesus, in my opinion.
My thinking with him is that the team that started against Brighton was pretty much their Champions League team, almost. I think Walker comes in, and so Torres was playing number 9. So that is where De Bruyne would play. So if he's not fit, I wonder if he'll give him one more. If De Bruyne's not fit, that is. It'll give him one more run out just to kind of prove that he can play it. So it's obviously, you're right though. Calvert-Lewin out for Bamford is much safer. Bamford's going to start. Have you got any consideration for going for a different striker, say Antonio instead of Bamford?
Yeah. I mean, I like that Southampton fixture, but West Ham never strike me. And I know they've done it. Like, I know they've done it a few times. They never strike me as a team that's going to go and score 3 or 4. I'd rather back Leeds to score 3 or 4 than I would West Ham. And obviously, I've got Lingard already. So no, there's something about Bamford playing at Ellen Road in Leeds' first game in front of fans in the Premier League in how many years? What, were they out of the Premier League for 10, 15 years?
I think it was 16. I think I've got 16 in my head from all the the talk about at the start of the season. It's a long time. I kind of agree. I know, like, it's easy to I was saying this on the FPL show last night. Like, it's easy to write a narrative about Leeds, but Bielsa is not going to let them slack off. They will run just as much as they did the first game, the second game, the third game. So I kind of agree. And Bamford's on penalties, although after Antonio's interview, who knows? He could be on penalties too. He wants to take them at least, which is good. You want a player that's kind of confident to go and do it. So we'll see. But I agree. I just don't see how Leeds don't score a few goals in that game unless they heavily rotate. But I just don't see that either, because it's like you said, it's the first game. The players almost deserve it. They've had such a good season, they get to have the run out. That's what I'm hoping anyway. But
I'm not saying that Bamford's got a good chance, but he's got an outside chance, Andy. of making the England squad, only because they're going from 23 men to 26 men, right? So if you look at the 3 extra, is it 3? I think it was up to 26. So the 3 extra men that England will call up. Now, there was talk that either Grealish or Sancho wouldn't have made it before, so now they make it. So that's one of the spaces. Then you've got 2 extra spaces. Now, do you need to take 9 or 10 defenders to a tournament? Probably not. I'm thinking Southgate might use, a midfield, but he might use 1 or 2 extra attacking spots. And if so, Watkins is safe. Abraham was making squads before and isn't again. So Abraham's out the mix. He doesn't seem to fancy Danny Ings. I just wonder, Watkins I think will go, DCL will go, of course. I just wonder if Bamford there's going to be one wild card option.
Do you know who I think it'll be though? I think he'll just see Bamford as too similar to Watkins. I know we're getting off on a tangent here, but I think he'll see Bamford as too similar to Watkins, even though. Yeah. So I think he'll take Greenwood because he can play in 2 different positions, and he's playing well at the right time, like just before the tournament. And if we talk, I'm not saying that he is better than Bamford as a forward. No, I'm absolutely not. But as a wild card pick, I think he might take Greenwood.
Yeah, if I was a better man, I'd go Greenwood over Bamford too. If I was going with what I thought Southgate would, because you're right. I think anywhere in the front line, left foot, right foot.
Yeah, I think, and he's just someone that, like, when he comes on, you get him in the box, he'll just shoot, and like you might want that at the end of a game if you're chasing. Like Greenwood's obviously not going to start; he's getting nowhere near the first 11. But yeah, I don't know. But obviously, getting off on a bit of a tangent. But I think Bamford's
something
just
to play for.
I agree.
Just that slight glimmer, and you can say the same with Greenwood going into game week 38, right? Yeah. These guys, you might just get that slight increased level of performance, but. My plan was always, whoever I bring in 38 will have a home fixture in front of fans.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's no better ground and team to target for me than Leeds, because as we've got to show my age, I remember Leeds playing in the Premier League. Can't believe it's been that long. But I mean, it's West Brom as well. Dead and buried. Sam's gone. Yeah. I could see a Leeds route.
No, I'm all with you on this. Yeah, for sure. I think just really quickly on England, I think Bamford is just in that position where there's just a lot of good strikers this year. It's a bit like right back, right? Bamford's done nothing wrong this year, and in a lot of seasons he probably gets in the squad. But just a bit unfortunate this year. Back to FPL. So you say you don't want to take a hit. Is that because you just don't think there's enough upside for a defender to pay it back?
Yeah, it's exactly that. Like, I mean, James and Trent, quite nice fixtures. You could see clean sheets there. If I have to end up playing Mitchell or Dean, you're at the risk of a 0 pointer. But Dean might come out of nowhere with an assist. I'd probably play Dean over Mitchell, to be fair, definitely. Just for the attacking threat. But I expect both those teams to obviously concede. If Veltman's fit, I know he's sort of red flagged, but then that's not a bad fixture either. So we'll see what happens there. But with hits, you take hits and they can pay off for you, not immediately that week, but moving forward too. Going into 38, they don't pay off moving forward. They've got to make up that there and then. And I took a hit last week for Reece James, knowing that I was going to need a defender transfer. So that's good enough for me.
Yeah, fair. I agree. It's hits obviously can work. We always know. Everyone tells us when they get a hit that works on Twitter or whatever. But yeah, it's very difficult in 1 week to make it pay. So yeah, I agree. I think playing Luca Dean, obviously it's not ideal against City, but it's also, an attacking defender is not the worst player to play. I'm looking at your team now. I think pretty much. I mean, Iheanacho obviously got benched in the last game. I don't think they played well at all until he came on the pitch. So I don't see that happening again.
He has to start. Yeah. In what's a must-win game. He's still been very, very good, right? Even when he came on against Chelsea, he was the bright spark. He's on my bench. I guess one of the few dilemmas I've got, I think I'm set. Areola over Lloris. I don't expect Spurs to keep a clean sheet, and I just wonder, Craven Cottage, last game for them in front of home fans. Newcastle don't seem to offer much going forward, but have been scoring.
Yeah, recently. Willock. He's got to keep Willock out. I agree, though. If I had those two keepers, Areola is the one that I would play. I think my thinking with the Leicester, because I think everyone thinks the Leicester game, they're going to absolutely just go for it. But realistically, Liverpool and Chelsea... if they win, Leicester need like 5 or 6 goals. It ain't going to happen. So my thinking is Brendan Rodgers actually plays it fairly tight for a little while, at least, to see what happens in the other games. Because if Villa somehow go ahead at Chelsea, that becomes then a very nervy game. And then Leicester only need to win. They don't need to win by 6 or 7. They just need to win. If Liverpool end up losing, which I know is even less likely because it's Crystal Palace, but I think this is what Leicester need. They need a bit of a miracle now. If Crystal Palace go ahead, then Leicester just need a point. So I don't think he goes all out for 6 or 7 goals, but neither Leicester defence or Spurs defence is that great at the moment. So I think playing Iheanacho is perfectly fine. The point I was making before was I think all your team's going to start. I don't think you've got any worries apart from maybe Reece James, but surely he's got to start, right?
I think so. I really do. Like, he's been playing. So last 2 games, last 2 games against Leicester, he's played right centre back, and that's just because Vardy likes that left hand channel, and he's done really well against Vardy, and he's played well in that position. But I feel like against Villa, we need him as the right wing back because Azpilicueta just doesn't offer the same value going forward. It is obviously the same side of the pitch as Grealish, who will probably be starting that game. But I think we'll see Reece in a more attacking role as the right wing back. But even if he doesn't play right wing back, Andy, he almost certainly plays right centre back. So that's why I went James over Chilwell. I knew Chilwell would start against Leicester last time out, but there's always that slight fear in a game we need to go and win that Alonso will get the nod over Chilwell. Reece James gets more minutes. Reece James gets more minutes than Chilwell, in my opinion, of late, and therefore Hudson-Odoi isn't a threat at right wing back like he was 3-4 months ago. And it's Reece James or Aspi, and whoever doesn't play will play in the right centre back channel. So yeah, he's set. I think you're right. Like, I look at my 11, and other than Gundogan and Veltman, the flagged players, I think they're all starters.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, obviously, if Veltman's doesn't come on, then Luca Dean's definitely starting anyway. And Calvert-Lewin to Bamford, you get to bench Gundogan. So I think it looks set. Good news on Reece James. I'm thinking about bringing him in this week, possibly. Nice. We should end right on captaincy. So I'll just quickly look at the review. So you're 412k. The worst one was about 370k. So 40k to make up. You've got Salah captain, who I think is just the standout by a long way this week in terms of obvious captain picks. Are you considering going different? You've got Rafinha against West Brom. You're thinking about bringing in Bamford, also playing West Brom. You think there could be 3-4 goals there. Any temptation to go different?
Yeah, there is. The temptation to go different, though, would be with Bamford, who, again, won't be a massive differential because he's so highly owned. But, of course, his effective ownership is going to be way lower than Salah. I've not gone Salah in the last couple of weeks when everyone else has. I've gone Kane the last couple. So the fact I've not given Salah the armband because I always earmark the Palace fixture, I just think it's ready-made. It's the Liverpool fans. I think I want to be a bit differential, but I'm not chasing any mini leagues. So if I was chasing mini leagues and the guy above me I knew was Captain Salah and I was 20 points behind him, all day long I'd be going Bamford. But I'm playing for overall rank now because I'm out of all my mini leagues, like well out, I'm dead and buried. And therefore it's like, okay, I just need as many points as I can get to get the most respectable finish I can get. And therefore, what's the point in going differential? If I think Salah's going to get more points than Bamford, which if I was a betting man would probably go he'll edge it, I just have to back my guy, right? So in that, look, if you're chasing mini league success, the differential captains massively can pay off for you. You need to think who's above you and who are they captaining. Firstly, I haven't got to think like that, so I'll probably go safe with Salah.
Yeah, fair enough. I cannot sit here and say that's a bad call because right now that's where my armband is. It's just too perfect. I think you have to sometimes. I'm still thinking about going without Salah, but you have to pick your battles, and I'm not sure this is one that I want to pick. Like last week in the end, like Kane was actually quite a big differential versus Salah. I'm glad I didn't get more punished, but yeah. So Calvert-Lewin to Bamford, Veltman. Let's see if he's fit or not. If not, Luca Dean comes in. Job done. Let's see what happens after that. Easy.
Yeah, exactly. So no, all good. It will be hopefully a green arrow. Like I'd like to think that if I captain either Bamford or Salah, regardless, I'm going to be on a green because I think most will go there. I think there'll be a few that go rogue and go Mane or Rafinha.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Mane.
Yeah, at your rank though, I don't know if you need to.
It's just, I mean, again, like we won't get into my team too much. It's just how much do I want to push for the top 1K? 17 points away it is, so I need. The Salah captain's just not going to do that, I don't think. But I don't know how. I don't want to also risk the best ever finish.
Losing a really good rank.
Yeah, so it's a tricky one. We'll see. I'd probably go Salah because it's just the way I've played all season. Just really quickly before we go, anything you wanted to talk about the season? Because we're probably not going to do another one next week. Obviously, might keep this going next season. But how are you feeling about the season as a whole?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's been like I said earlier, like genuinely love chatting with you every week, and I'm really pleased to see so many watching these videos. So as the season has continued, of course, like I see how many people watch these videos, and loads of you are tuned in for it. So thank you for following my progress. And unfortunately, it's not been the most progressive season. I got off to a bad start, and when you do get off to a really bad start, it's really difficult to make up for that kind of those bad calls early on. I went without Salah early when everyone else was captaining him. I went so big on Man City, which I look back and I wouldn't change it. That's the way I like to play. I went big on City, and I think I went triple City attack, and they went and scored like 6 goals in 6 games. That just doesn't happen to Pep's Man City teams, but it happened when I went big there. So look, would I change a huge amount? Probably not. And in years gone by, that sort of style has worked for me. Maybe next season I'll be a little bit safer. Getting rid of Salah was a mistake in game week 3. I think I did it. But no, it's been fun. Look, you watch these videos not because you want to copy my team and go, Gianni's brought in Bamford, I'm going to do the same. It's hopefully because you enjoy the chat between the two of us, and because you can go, okay, Gianni has mentioned that player and now he's on my radar. And there's been quite a few times this season I've spoken about players that I've not been able to bring in. You know, we can only bring one guy, maybe 2 in each week, but we speak about 3 or 4 each week. So, you know, I look back and think of me harping on about Saka, and then him going like 3-4 returns on the trot, and loads
Bale
of
against Sheffield United.
Bale against Sheffield United, my biggest one, and that was only a couple of weeks ago. He went and got 21 points, and I had so many DMs, people telling me, "Thank you for telling me to go Bale," because you know he got me 42 points as my captain. You know, yes, I didn't do it, and you know I should have mug written on my forehead for not doing it, but the fact that so many watch and maybe take my advice, maybe don't, but when they do and it works, I love that. So thank you guys for following the journey, and yeah, hopefully we do something similar moving forward. But it's been really fun.
Yeah, it's been good. I think on the Man City point, I think a lot of people are like that with Man City. You had to be this season. You had to be on them at the right time. Like, there was that period where Laporte was injured, so Stones and Diaz were obviously going to play every game. There was no Champions League, sorry, not Europa League. It'll be a long time until City's in the Europa League, I think. So that was fine. But then when the Champions League came back, the rotation happened. They were really hard to call at certain times this year. But you always want to be on them though, because you know what they can do. So it's a really hard one to call. But yeah, I think Salah's again had such a good season. What's he on now? He's on 22 goals, 5 assists. Just another mad season, even though it's like going to be one of his worst, which is crazy to think about. But when you took him out, that's when he got loads of his goals. He then went the period in the middle not doing anything. Like, he went from game week, I'm just looking now, game week 15 to game week 28. He scored like 4 goals, which is just not like Salah, you know. And then he's done okay the last few weeks. So yeah, sometimes that happens. It's just one of those things. And I usually find that if I have a bad season, the next season's actually all right. I don't know what it is. It's like it almost focuses you. So you just, if anyone else in the same boat, you just write it off and go again. Like, who cares, right? You just play next season.
I think I'll be a little bit less stubborn next season, I hope. I think this year I was trying to be at times a little bit too cool, a little bit too rogue, a little bit too differential. I was captaining KDB a lot. He kept hitting the woodwork every time I captained him.
I know. Like I people hate De Bruyne. Like, think he's a bad finisher, but he's just underperformed. So much.
Front of goal. His shooting is massively underwhelmed. And I went without Bruno for ages as well, because there was a time where he wasn't playing well, but kept getting 10 points. And I'm massively sort of back the eye test. And I was like, that's not going to continue. And he kept getting these penalties or these 10-yard pass assists or whatever. So again, I jumped on Bruno, but way, way, way too late. And next season, I think I'll just go, the points are there, the data's there, the underlyings are still there, bring him in. And I've probably backed my eye testing a little bit too heavily this season. So yeah, it's going to be fun next year. You're right though. When I've had a bad season, the next season has focused me and I have improved. So let's see.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what Bruno does next year, because I think he probably has got something similar in him. But I'm the same. I didn't own him for a while. I remember watching against Everton. There was that chip from outside the box of the keeper, just a ridiculous goal. And then the next week was West Brom. It was like a left-footed volley or half volley in the box. Just these difficult shots that just kept going in. And obviously he's a great player. No one's writing him off. But you know, it's like when I had Wan-Bissaka against Southampton, going down to 10 men, then Fernandes gets like a 17-pointer in the last 10 minutes. It's just been his season, and next season it'll be interesting to see whether he has Yeah, similar one. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me every week. It's been great. If you have enjoyed this series, please do give it a like and hit that subscribe button. I'll be back later on today with Neil for team news. Like we said earlier in the video, like all 20 press conferences are on Friday, so it's going to be a mad one. And then Gianni will be back at 3:00 with Lee, Seb, and Toby.
Yeah.
Lee, Seb, and Toby for Matchcast.
4 of us watching 10 games. It's going to be chaos. But yeah, look forward to that on Sunday. One final thing from me, Andy, just because I've not mentioned it in these series, and we put it, there's 2 FPL books that for summer reading, you should really be buying, right? So this one's contribution has been from Scout, Wasting Your Wild Card.
I'm in that.
Andy's in it. And then this one is Fantasy Premier League, Unlocking the Secrets to the Top 1%, which is written by me. It was released a couple of years ago. We sold out in December ahead of Christmas, and we've had so many DMs saying, can't get a paperback. Can you do a new sort of print run? So literally on Wednesday, we agreed to that, and these books are now back on the market. So if you follow me on Twitter, you can see the links to buy, but it's $7.99 with free UK delivery. Give it a read in the summer. I'm not one for reading, but every summer I read a couple of football books. So, it's perfect prep for the season.
Actually. Yeah, definitely. All right, we will leave it there before we go on any longer. Please do give it a like, hit that subscribe button. Gianni, thank you very much. Good luck, everybody, with your final transfer. Try not to stress about it too much. Avoid taking too many hits. And, good luck with those green arrows on the final day. We'll catch you again next season.